on the troll.
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back. It is a time of the night where we have to talk about what is happening around us. Yes, Emily, you are saying you've got a lot to unpack. And I have to agree with you. So mostly I'm going to sit, chill, and relax and hear you unpacking.
But if you have questions, feel free to ask. This approach that I want to take, Mr. Anonymous, is more of questions. I have questions. I have questions with regards to this apology that the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, decided to make to the principal of Bergview College, where the incident happened. You know, what happened to, or allegedly had happened, because they're saying it did not happen there, while the mother is insisting that she needs answers as to what happened at the school on that day when her child, the incident that happened to her happened. The school wants nothing to do with what is currently happening. And they are protecting their reputation, we get it. But I have questions, Mr. Anonymous. And I was hoping that the last video would be the last time I talk about this case. But as I was, looking at the responses on the comment section of the last video that we made, and I also looked around social media, I saw that there was a story that broke.
Okay.
And the very powerful AfriForum managed to successfully, in my opinion, kind of take out the principle from what happened to Twekwe, in my opinion, okay, by getting the police minister to apologize.
Did they get the police to apologize?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
He was apologized. The letter was addressed to Gerry of AfriForum. It was addressed to him.
And Hernel passed it to the media.
Yeah, pretty much. But it doesn't take away from the fact that he apologized for implicating the principal as the suspect.
Okay.
Which is also weird at the same time, because initially he had denied that is what he had done.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I was explaining in the previous video about how we all came to the conclusion that out of the three suspects he was talking about, one of them had to be the principal, when he said DNA was collected from the three suspects.
Yes.
And then he came back and apologized, not really apologized, but he came back, Minister of Police, and said that he never said that the principal was a suspect.
Okay.
He denied it, vehemently so, in a statement. And then now we are sitting here with an apology for including the principal as a suspect.
So what is apologizing for if he didn't include him?
That's another question I have. That's another question I have. I'm like, why are you apologizing? Because you released a statement to say you never said that. So what is the apology for now?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are confused. A lot of people are having doubts and are giving up, because there's so many voices, so many things, a lot is happening around this case. But I'm going to go through that apology with you guys, and hopefully we can unpack some of the things and ask pertinent questions. So I don't know what the consequences for him not apologizing would have been, but it seems that the Minister of Police has admitted that he erred when he said that the principal was one of the suspects, of which he denied and said he never said that. Okay. And I didn't bash him too hard in the previous video, because in a way that's not what he said. We all came to the conclusion that since he's mentioning three suspects, one of them has to be the principal. You understand?
Yes.
So Senzo Mchunu has kind of, in my opinion, I'm not going to say it as a matter of fact, but in my opinion, he has by apologizing, exonerated the principal in some type of way. And not to say that the principal was a suspect to begin with, because in this article we're finding out new details about the case itself.
Yeah.
So the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, has admitted that he wrongly identified Jaco Pieterse, the principal of Bergview College in Matatiele, as a suspect in the accusation that he forced himself on a 7-year-old. And he says that he's prepared to apologize to him. Not only is he apologizing in this letter that he wrote to Gerry, but he's also willing to apologize to him. He's prepared to apologize to him. I'm going to assume that face to face. So on the letter, Mchunu wrote addressed to AfriForum advocate Gerry, who is said to be providing legal advice to Pieterse. He said, I have human, and I quote, I'm quoting from the letter, I have human and personal empathy for your client, meaning Mr. Pieterse, the principal, the school principal, and any other person who might have been wrongly fingered as a suspect in the circumstances where he or they were only persons of interest. So this reveals that he was a person of interest and not a suspect. So he said, I categorically state that I never at any stage had an intention to defame your client or any person for that matter. Mchunu has taken responsibility for a 29th March media statement. This is the statement where he was saying that he never said that the principal was a suspect, in which he identified 3 individuals, including the principal, the school principal, as a suspect in this case, without explaining why. Okay? So as the Minister of Police, he said, I take full responsibility for the statement in question. So he is taking responsibility for the statement by saying that the principal was one of the suspects to AfriForum, to Gerry, in a letter addressed to Gerry, but he couldn't do it when now there was a retraction coming from one of the spokespersons for Gwekwe's mother, who was speaking. Remember that clip I added in the last video of a woman who was speaking and saying that the minister, they don't know what the minister is talking about. After he had released that statement that he or his office never said that the principal was a suspect.
Yeah.
So he said, I would like to assure you that it was issued in good faith and there was no malicious intent whatsoever. So he's writing all of this to Gerry of AfriForum. He says, and I quote, I authorized the issuing of the statement on the basis of information I had received, and I had no reason to believe in the truthfulness of that information that was placed before me. It later emerged that this information was inaccurate, a matter that will be addressed internally by the National Commissioner of Police. Mchunu stressed that in discharging his responsibilities as police minister, he strives to be honest, but may not be perfect. He said that he also needed to state in the cause of investigating crimes by SAPS, mistakes will be committed, and no one can say that there will be no mistakes going forward. There is no inherent malice in committing a mistake. Human beings are prone to error, even though they strive for perfection all the time. End quote.
Unquote. Are you done?
I'm done with the apology that he had written.
So what is this apology for? Is it a department apology?
It's a him apology as the Minister of Police.
Yeah, but it seems as if he's apologizing on behalf of the department.
Maybe
you cannot separate the two. And the mouthpiece of the department is indeed the minister of the department.
Yes.
So one again, the power at hand and we must really applaud the power at hand, because there is indeed, for me, the power that I see in a sense that it's not often actually. I don't know, at this age, I'm old enough, but I've never had a situation where the whole department apologizes of justice, apologizes to an individual. I mean, I'm talking about the situation where, if you remember what happened to Shandu on Senzo's case, when the guy who was the commissioner,
Yes.
was supposed to apologize,
Yes.
was supposed to apologize to that man. You know what he said? He said, the case is not done.
You know, that's what I'm also was
You know, that
asking.
when he was supposed to render apology there, he just maneuvered with by saying that the case is not done. I mean, rightfully so, you would be correct to compare the two scenarios where the case is not closed yet, in my opinion, on this scenario also of Cwecwe. It is not closed. So for people to apologize while the process is being investigated, are they saying that then therefore you are not wrong in even assuming that they might be exonerating in a sense other people there? Because once you go and apologize while you are busy investigating, more so an apology that looks like or that sounds like that, it clearly it sounds like you're saying our investigation does not include you, and or we have concluded that you are not part and parcel of that.
This apology is honestly creating that impression.
Yes.
That he's not even gonna be looked at. He's not even supposed to be looked at.
Yeah.
He's not. He's has nothing to do with.
Yes.
And
yes.
if that is a matter of fact, with regards to the investigation,
Yeah.
then I guess we'll have to see when the matter goes to court as to what is happening along
But
the
already
lines.
remember, Emil, even the court itself, it is basically depending on the police and investigators. So what goes to court, if it exclude people, then those people are excluded. I mean, we have learned that from the situation of Kelly and whatsoever that we might actually refer to, and other cases that we have seen. If a person is not included, don't think that the judge can pull out some magic there and call them.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen like that. I mean, Gerinel at the right time is at the right position. In my opinion, is doing wonders for the principal. He's doing very great. I mean, very, very great. I mean, I last saw some of these things happening go series that I was watching. I remember that one of Oliver Pope. Yeah, it's great work, if I may say it like that. To me, when I look at it, it's just great work. I admire the powers that he possesses, and to be able to get the minister at this point, if he did, or the minister feeling that he needs to apologize, it's not something that you can undermine. That is power that people should actually appreciate. I mean, I'm one of those people when I see such power, and I really appreciate it, and I'm like, wow, I wish I can have such power where really I can intervene and people start apologizing. It's not an easy thing actually to have. I mean, I guess is a learned colleague that you can reckon with.
Is Gerinel his lawyer? Is he receiving instructions from Jaco Pieterse? Or he's a lawyer for AfriForum?
You never know, man, with Gerinel. He is everything that is needed most of the time. I think we know that he comes from AfriForum, but I mean, information is being spoken to him and it goes through to him and then the client, then you might say as well, it feels and looks like he's a lawyer for the client.
Now, before I go forth, there's some information that I collected, and I was just astonished by this level of power that I'm seeing here. And I went on to try and make sense of what I'm seeing. And Gerinel's position in AfriForum, he is AfriForum's private prosecution head. It seems like AfriForum is able to privately prosecute. I don't know what it takes to get a private prosecution going. So that's why I made the research and I tried to find out what is this thing of private prosecution. Because the last time I heard about it was when they introduced the press conference with Sfiso Meiwa, and they were talking and giving the state an ultimatum that if they do not find out what happened to Senzo Meiwa, then they will have to go through a private prosecution. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So this private prosecution is a big deal. So there are two types of private prosecutions. There's a private prosecution on a certificate noal prosequi, Section 9 of the Criminal Procedure Act. There's also a private prosecution of statutory right, which is Section 8 of the Criminal Procedure Act. So there are financial implications when it comes to private prosecutions, and apparently they can be very expensive as the private prosecutor bears all the costs, including legal fees, investigation costs, and potential security for the accused costs. So the reason, in my opinion, why Gwegwe in this instance, in my opinion, might never get justice, that's slowly my opinion, is because those who are fighting for her perhaps don't have the means to even think of pursuing this private prosecution.
It's very far from that. I mean, a normal I'm talking about a normal citizen, it is highly impossible to have that, unless of course you are one of the top 5 of this country. But a normal person, no. And you would have to have a certain organization that really
it has to be well funded,
yes,
like to the level of AfriForum, if not more.
Yeah.
And also you are seeing how, I would say in general, the politicians that are currently in government, they tremble at the mention of private prosecution, at the mention of Gerinel. They just begin to, we saw it with Senzo's case, how they just begin to move, there's movement. Something must happen, when it comes to the mentioning of private prosecution. And because the NPA, in my opinion, might not take this case, I actually found out as I went through the article, Mr. Anonymous, that the NPA had actually dropped this case and they said that it lacked evidence. I didn't know that part of information and detail. Apparently they dropped it last year, which I found to be quite strange and unusual in my opinion. And another thing, you guys, we have to consider as well about a private prosecution is that the prosecution, if it is unsuccessful, the court may order the private prosecutor to pay for the accused's legal fees. So if it doesn't go well and you go through the private prosecution route, you must be able to also bear the costs should you lose the case of the accused. So as you can see, it's a very expensive exercise. And the reason why most of these politicians fear AfriForum, in my opinion, is because they can afford to privately prosecute if they want to. So it can't be an easy position to find yourself in conflict with AfriForum. If AfriForum wants an apology, you'll have to find a way to give that apology. That's merely my opinion, right? It cannot be taken as a fact. I'm speculating, and it's something that I've been thinking about, and that's all been on my mind. Because we don't know much about this private prosecution route. We always think that the only way we can get justice is if the NPA represents us. But AfriForum has found quite a nice way of dealing with their own problems and the problems of their people. You understand what I'm saying? And this private prosecution will always be a nice, wonderful thing that they use to get justice for their people. So yeah, the apology honestly did come as a surprise to me as well, because he was denying in that statement that he released, and now he's making a whole turnaround, and in this turnaround, he's admitting that he did include the principal as a suspect, and he's apologetic and is apologizing, So that I really found very, very strange, and it's a question that I will leave hanging in the air for you guys to help me make sense of it, because I'm not here trying to tell you guys what to think, because I know the previous video has somehow attracted new people that are on the side of the principal, and they have every right to be on the side of the principal. But we as a society have questions, right? We have questions, and it would be great help to get some of the questions answered and clarified, so that we don't go or move forward falsely accusing people if that is the case. You understand what I'm saying? But for now, we have questions, right? We have questions because in our experience as people of color, we are not used to people who are persons of interest and then just being let off the hook like that by South African police. You understand what I'm saying? It's really a first time for me that when I study the situation, I get to see someone being let off the hook, and ministers even apologizing to them, and we're not really being told of how was he off the hook. He's saying he was not there at the school premises, but did they just take his word for it? Because if that's the case, then I don't think the 5 accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, just by saying that they were not there at the Spaza house, also could have been easily let go like that. There must have been some kind of proof that he showed to the investigator, and how come it's not being put out there so that we know what it is and we let it go, because there's solid proof that he was not at the school premises around the time that the incident is alleged to have taken place. You understand what I'm saying? Those are just questions that we have. All right. And yeah, the news also reports are coming out, and News 24 also got the principal of the school, his side of the story. They managed to talk to him. So the school principal talked to News 24. He said that the false accusations has had devastating consequences on every aspect of his life. He said that personally, his family and him have suffered immense psychological trauma, threats to their safety and lives, and that they were forced into hiding, abandoning their home, losing peace of mind and normal family life. Well, pretty much one would say a similar thing is also happening to Gregor's family. Gregor's mom, the last time I heard on TikTok, she said that she was in a safe place and she was away from their home because of safety concerns. So it seems like a lot of powers are at play when it comes to this case, and people are on the run, including the principal himself, because he feels that he's falsely accused, and he's also saying that they've had to abandon their home, and the normal family life that he has changed. He also said that professionally, his career, reputation, and future employability have been severely damaged. Financially, his family has lost income from both his job and his wife's guest house, incurred unexpected relocation and security expenses, and now faces long-term financial insecurity. So he's really emphasizing on the financial losses that he has occurred or has endured through this whole thing of him. According to him, he's being falsely accused. My guess would be this emphasis of financial loss, and also going and demanding apologies, especially of high profile political persons who said or casted any aspersions against him. I'm guessing he's preparing also for a lawsuit. It's just a guess and a speculation that I have, that he's planning on suing, in my opinion. The stigma and fear surrounding the accusations, he says, have stripped him of his dignity, community standing, and professional credibility, with the potential to leave lasting emotional, social, and economic scars. He says that these traumatic events caused a catastrophic and life-altering impact on their present and future. He confirmed that he was considering criminal charges and civil lawsuits to address the wrongdoing. And like I said, civil lawsuits means financial compensation. So if you have casted any aspersions against him and you have a little bit of coin, then he will be addressing that at the civil lawsuits. And so Barry Baitman, spokesperson for AfriForum's private prosecution unit, who assisted Peter, said at the beginning, he also is working for AfriForum, said that the trauma suffered by him and his family was entirely avoidable. He said that this unfortunate incident has highlighted the importance of following due process and allowing police to conduct their investigation without interference from social media detectives, ill-informed politicians, and state officials. GBV, particularly against children, requires extreme caution, where a child's best interest must be prioritized in all decisions and actions. The false allegations against Peterse and others have hampered the proper administration of justice. He says that it is unclear at this point whether Mkunu's apology will stem the tide of social media harassment, threats, and abuse that Peterse and his family have faced since the mother of a 7-year-old Bigview pupil went public with her accusations that police and school authorities had failed to properly investigate and address what happened to her daughter. So already we are getting a sense that Outrage might never get justice, you guys.
Hayi khona bavele hayi. There's vele ngathi vele kubheke lapho vele. It's going there, in my opinion. I think bayebethi ngesizulu awachithwe lamanzi.
Hey guys, this is so hard. This is so heavy, and it has just become so complicated, in my opinion, because the minister, by him apologizing, he also did not make this easy at all. He's just made it even more difficult, in my opinion, because by him admitting that he was wrong without an investigation taking its full course completely, couldn't he have waited after the investigations were done before he started dishing out apologies?
I wanna. It's a little bit too late for everything. I just feel sorry for the family. I really feel sorry for Kwekwe's family.
Even Kwekwe herself.
And then I'm including Kwekwe there. I really. I wanna, once it goes to this direction, you must know. You must just
like
forget.
A deja vu, ne? It feels like
just forget. Just forget. Just forget. You know, we are not equal.
We are not.
In my opinion, we are not equal. When it happens to certain people, attention is given, and the media feels it, and everyone, the pressure is everywhere. But when it happens to, yeah, it just becomes that. Um, we are not equal. We can never be equal unless, of course, something drastic changes. Uh, Such cases, they are a reminder of that. And the narrative can quickly spin and change, and what you know could just become this Mandela effect just quickly. And
I'm
yeah,
feeling that, which is why I decided to
yeah,
come
so
here, guys.
we are
I'm
here.
feeling-
We are basically learning and now starting to realize Uguti, things aren't as we expect them to be. It's not always black and white. It sometimes blurry, black, yellow, something. Everything is possible in this world. But one thing for sure that you can be assured of is that we are not equal. Others are more equal than the other. So that's what you are getting from this. And whether you like it or not, however you want to look at it, it just goes back to that. I mean, you can analyze and come with your clever black analogy and give us your
Theories. There's a lot
theories
of
and all
theories
that.
that are coming from.
But the fact of the matter is that until it knocks in your door, you would never know how it feels for others until you face it exactly the same way as the Kwes family and Kwekwe herself faced it. You will never understand how it feels. You'll always have this opinion that seeks to get or solicitate these applause that comes from the other party, and then you feel like you are smarter or you are like certain people. It's okay. We accept that. It's fine. And money can basically, in my opinion, buy anything. Money is important in everything that you do. So we don't know what is happening. We currently are in a limbo, but we see where we are going. In our opinion, it feels like we are almost done. You know,
Yeah.
we haven't even started, but we are almost done.
But we are almost done.
And I know other people are passionately expecting things to fall into place in a right way. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think you'll ever get that.
No. No, the signs are already there now. And also, my question, which is a question, I don't want to fight because people are fighting. Okay, this is a question. It's a simple question I have. The caretaker and the driver of Kwekwe were not even the heat of public outrage went to that direction because it was communicated that they handed their DNA swabs. Now they needed the principal swab, and all of this that he's now feeling, and his life, he's saying, is a mess. Financially, he's suffering. His wife's guest house is suffering. All of these complaints, getting the Minister of Police to apologize through AfriForum. All of this is happening because he didn't want to hand over the swabs, because he said he asked the investigator why he must hand over his swabs, and they told him, the investigator said, because the mother is asking for them. And he said he refused to hand over those swabs because of that. Fine. It's his right. He had to refuse. But then you go fetch AfriForum and public outrage. People are asking, why are you refusing with the swabs? Now we are here. Couldn't you have just handed them over? That's a question I have. You didn't do it. You have nothing to hide, right? But no. Now, because he doesn't want to hand them over,
The business is suffering.
yeah, the
And
business is suffering. Everything is a mess.
Everything
in
is
his
a
life.
mess, yes.
And also, we are now going back. We are going back where now we are hearing information that, when, in my opinion, that I put together, something is not right.
No, there's something obvious, definitely is not right.
Something is not right.
But
They're
we are not saying anyone is.
We're not saying some. We're
But
not saying the
something
principal
is
guilty.
really that is not right. I mean, on a normal day, people would just do what is right on a normal day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially when it
as
comes
a
to
parent,
us.
someone comes and say, "I need you to make me feel at ease with you. I mean, you are a person who keeps my kid here at your school. I feel like you also need to take that a bit of accountability. As I mean, both of us were parenting here, but we are parenting my kid. So please assist me with this because I don't feel at ease, or because I need to know what happened.
What happened to my child?
I don't think that would have been a problem. If someone comes from out of nowhere, there is no link between me and them. Person comes from Cape Town and say, "I need your DNA." Now that's a different story.
Yes. But now it's
But there's a
pertaining to
link, there's a
child
card, there's a kid that you,
who
as a principal, you were keeping in
is
a
in
school.
your school.
So it's not like someone just woke up and said, "I want your
Randomly.
DNA."
Yes.
Randomly.
They just,
So
there's a process
is that a problem?
there's a
Why
process.
is that a problem? Why is it so hard to actually give, to such an extent that organization will intervene?
Haibo.
Why is it so
A whole
difficult?
Gerinel has come out.
Why is it so
defend you.
difficult to just do this and clear your school and clear everyone else, and it's business as
clear
usual?
everything, yes.
Your wife's business
And the whole of
continue
South Africa
doing well
knows
if it was doing well.
that you have nothing to do with this, and then they leave you alone. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You get me?
It would have been easier that way, but we have taken this
A long route,
difficult.
which you are entitled to take if you
you've
ask
got the
me.
money.
But it does raise eyebrows, and it does obviously leave that dent in a sense of saying it was never really an issue of your blood saying no. It was just the system that was used that also supports you, and that's how we're gonna know it. We're gonna know a system prevailed.
Yes.
You know,
So
that's how I view it. It's a system that is prevailing, which is not wrong. But all this for a mere DNA?
it's a swab, a cotton, just.
It's not like you're gonna get an operation or something like that.
And also you can also get the sense of the investigator taking the responsibility to Kwekwe's mother. It means the investigator themselves could not directly say you are a person of interest to him or something. The fear element in it as well, to say that even the investigating officer could not tell you straight that because there is a assumption or there is a suspicion that the incident occurred in the school.
In the premises in which they assume that you were also there, in a sense, by saying we need your DNA, we need to clear you.
We need to clear you so that this does not.
Can you imagine the power that he has exercised if it was actually applied to Abundanzi and accused number? We wouldn't have census case, right?
They wouldn't be sitting in that court
because they wouldn't have found those bullets and they wouldn't have found all these other things.
They
but
had time with them.
Yeah, things are different, man. Everywhere. As I said, I mean, you are every day reminded of what actually is the reality of South Africa. And you have to see it as that.
Yes.
I mean, unfortunately, that's how South Africa is, and there is nothing you can do about it.
And also, Mr. Anonymous, I don't know how you feel about it. I asked this question earlier. Is his word to say, I wasn't there at the school premises around the time you allege this incident to have taken place?
Yes.
Is his word good enough? Just him telling the investigating officer.
I guess maybe some might come and say we have something to back it up, or here's a picture or something.
Is.
But I guess for now, from what we know from the outside, is the word is enough. Unfortunately, it was never enough for Ntanzi.
It was never enough
in a
for
trial,
Spear.
within trial, it was never enough for Spear, with some of the proof being given, unfortunately. But it is enough. It is enough in this case.
I hope there is something else besides his word. I'm just saying, because those reports, we are not getting them. News 24 also insists that the principal was not on the school premises at the time Kwekwe's mother said that her child was violated. They are also saying that threats intensified after Pieterse declined to provide a DNA sample to the police because the investigating officer had told him this was SAPS's procedure, but it was a request from the mother. Or even I misquoted it. I'm sorry. Actually, the investigating officer told the principal that it was a procedure. Was he wrong?
No, it was not.
And then, but it was a request from the mother. So how did Mr. Pieterse find out that it was a request from the mother? Did he find out from the investigating officer, or did he find out by doing his own investigation of the matter? That's a question I have, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So the principal denied taking the DNA because the request came from the mother. He did not feel obligated to adhere to Kwekwe's mother's request, even though Kwekwe has left her child in his care at the school.
Even though the mother has left his child at his care. Yeah.
So he did not feel obliged.
No.
Okay. So the principal said that he was willing to cooperate with any official requests, and he explained that he would first get legal advice and then let him know.
Okay, what? Can you imagine if these police can have guts just to say, okay, we now would like to have your DNA? Can you imagine?
I can't imagine, because with him it looks like a...
But well, I think an apology has been rendered, so you don't wanna traverse those.
Yeah, but that has just killed the momentum of all of these questions that we have. It has already been reported that the police are saying that the police have confirmed that no foreign DNA was found on the child or her clothing. Now, there has been an interesting development with regard to this whole DNA situation, where the police are saying no foreign DNA was found. Kwekwe's mother, on the other hand, saying that she submitted the pants that had blood in them, and the ones that Kwekwe was wearing, and they have gone to the lab to be tested. She says that she got them back over the weekend, and the part where there was DNA on it has been cut out. Now, social media expert commentators who have maybe worked in labs before, I don't know, are saying that that's the procedure, that's how it works. But my question is, why is the part with the entire DNA taken out and the rest of the clothing is returned with a hole in it? Isn't it the case that they should have taken the whole piece of item, the whole clothing, and then given it to the police and just taken a swab of what they need? They actually need DNA. They don't need the actual material. So what? I don't know. Like I feel like I'm dumb all of a sudden. I just feel like what is going on? Why are people saying that it's okay for the lab technicians to have cut out the piece that had the DNA?
So let me ask you this question. I mean, are you saying, based on that piece, there is no? They are saying there's no foreign DNA, or based on what they got from Kwekwe's body?
They are saying based on Kwekwe's body, because these no foreign DNA statements were made back like 4 weeks back by the police as well as the Minister of Social Development, to say that no foreign DNA was found on Kwekwe. Those were the findings. But then why did Kwekwe's mother hand over pants that had blood in them to be tested? And she handed them a while ago. She did not hand them this year. She handed them at the beginning of the investigation. According to her, that's her version. So now she says she received their pants, but they have a hole in them and the part with the DNA is gone. So what are we now supposed to interpret this as? Maybe some of our Mzansi reality family, I know some of you work in labs and you are experts on this. Can you please help us out? Is that how the labs work? You just take the entire part where there's DNA in it and you retain it, and then you give back the entire piece of clothing. Don't you give it to the police? How does this thing work?
So tell me, no foreign DNA, yet there was blood
On her pants.
on her pants.
Yes.
So
Maybe they're trying to say that blood was hers. I don't know.
but still, she's too young to be having blood on her pants, isn't she?
She is.
So what caused that blood then? What created it? Iyagulisa, man. It's sickening.
Yeah,
I won't lie to you. It's sickening. And then to hear people defending, presenting their theories.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
They're just making everything worse.
It is very crazy and sad to hear such. And unfortunately, we are living in such a community. We are living in the so-called democracy. Nonsensical thing ever in my life that I
have ever witnessed. Mr. Anonymous, how far along are we?
Yeah, I think we
we should pause here for now. We'll continue tomorrow or something, because now guys, this is draining. This is tiring. But we'll see you on the next video, and hopefully I get to continue with the rest of the things that I'm finding out.
Yeah, cheers guys. Please like the video, share the video. That's it. Just done.
We are done, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.